Okay, this is kind of, I guess I just wanted more places to convey some of my thoughts. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to just do it here. I had a wine tasting today, so like I told some of you guys, I'm trying to train to be a sommelier. So anyway, I want to talk about community for a second and how sometimes there's these community norms, right? So there's a particular group of people who has a idea about another group of people, and they believe like, oh, this is a way that other people behave because that's what they've seen in society before, or they have I think a lot of it comes from like stereotypes, and a lot of it could come from media as well. There's probably like a combination of both. But like, let's say something happens in a community in which you live, right? And like, one thing that's funny really about anyone who's living in California or like the Bay Area specifically right now, if you aren't making content or you're not like talking specifically about like your feelings around the crime wave, like you're a part of the negative experience that so many people are having there. Like, I feel like I knew that crime, like when I was living there, I knew that crime was bad. Okay. Like I wasn't sitting around like oblivious to it. I knew it was happening, but I felt like, oh no, maybe it's like a normal amount of crime. But then you start to, like, some stuff starts to add up. So, there was that movie that came out that was about, child, rape and all that stuff that was happening in like Latin America, and that one police officer who like went undercover to try to stop it. And then that really hit home for me because, like I mentioned in my response video to that, there's a street in Oakland called East 14th Street, and it's like a notorious street for like prostitution, but also in sex trafficking. And the major victims of sex trafficking are children. So like that's kind of like a notorious thing that happens there. But it's really weird to like live in that community because like it's almost like everyone knows it's happening, including like the policy officials, right? Like I'm talking to you about it as though it's a normal thing because it is a normal thing there. Like it isn't a secret. You can drive past the street and you can see it. And so I feel like one thing that might be kind of overlooked is almost the dehumanization state that has been normalized in that part of society. And so it is strange for there to be like an expectation of more people. It's strange to have an expectation that people will all of a sudden, I don't know, feel differently, feel more surprised about there being like a lack of accountability, and a normalization of dehumanization, when for so long we've seen a normalization of dehumanization. Like East 14th and people being sold, bodies being sold is just like the normal thing. And I guess like when you put it all together, it kind of makes sense why you have so much counterculture there and why it thrives there, because like no one is exposed to anything else. That's what everyone is like accustomed to, and they don't have any like images or like ideas or like, how do you say, like lived experiences of values that are like different. And another part of like I guess me coming on here and actually like sticking by my values. Here's another thing I guess I didn't realize. Sometimes when you're younger, you have values, like some things that you believe, And then you don't realize that there are other people who are like questioning their values, and they question them by like interrogating the way that you respond to see like how true you hold dear certain values. And I think that it isn't until something really drastic happens in your life that you realize like sometimes like how feeble those values are, or like why you believe them in the first place. Like when I was growing up, I was like so feminine, and I was like so like pro marriage and pro children. Like I was so conservative. It was like it was crazy. Like I just like my whole life, like I remember I would like dream about like a husband, and like what, like, oh my God, on my wedding night I'm gonna like wear this, and you know we're gonna like dance all night, and I would like write little like letters to like my future. I literally used to be that person. And then I guess like as I go older, I realized that like society doesn't see me as that person, mostly because I'm Black. Like my Blackness was enough to take away from, I guess, like my chastity or my womanness, my femaleness, or my ambition to be a family person. And then even when I got into certain relationships, I realized like almost like my lack of value to some partners, which was very strange. It like and it was weird too, because when I would communicate, I'm like, okay, like if you don't see my value, that's fine. I would like to go be with someone who does see my value. Like that's what I communicated. It made them upset, and that's when I started to really realize like sometimes people would rather you not be with anyone if you're not going to be with them. They feel like if you're not going to be with them, then you deserve to be with no one, which is a very strange way for really anyone to feel. Like when you think about it, like why would you want to take away, why would you want to stop someone from like moving on and living a happy life without you? Why instead wouldn't you just, at least pretend to be happy for them that they've moved on? But I don't know. It's something so strange about our society. It's so weird. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. And I wonder, and I really wonder this, like I don't know. I think all in all, I've just like really thoroughly gained an in-depth this is funny. I think this was the honey wine. It's a wine called like honeysuckle, and it was sweet. I think that was the case here. I'm not positive. I can't remember. Yeah, but I have come to the realization that like I just don't aim to live some extremely like complex life. And also like I want my awful American experiences to be very well documented, so that like other Black women can understand. Like I wish someone would have explained to me. I wish another Black woman would have explained to me in words like, this is how they see you. This is why they don't like you. This is what they want to take from you. This is how they hope you will die. And I know that sounds really brutal, and it sounds really like, oh my God, this is like so pessimistic. But if someone would have said that to me, it would have answered like so many questions, and I wouldn't have like had these like second thoughts about like how to move forward. This is another reason I continue to say like, I don't know if it actually matters about all of the development that has yet to be done in Africa, because like we have to do it. Like we don't have another choice, because like I think my story will probably help a lot of people understand how unlivable this place is for us. And I know it can really seem like I'm lying, but I think that's because some of you don't know, none of you really, you don't know the entire story. And if you did, it would make you rethink a lot of things. It would cause you to, really question the society and question the integrity of the society. It's something I've been grappling with for a very long time. And sometimes you grow up and you realize, like, when there have been so few people who've done the work to try to help you understand how we got here. Like, I'm so grateful for the Black female YouTubers, like the Wine and Chill girl. I've learned so much from her. And like, even Amanda, who's just categorized like some of the Gen Z trends that have happened on the college campus. The woman who talked about her experience at Yale and turned it into a movie called Master. Issa Rae, just making Awkward Black Girl. Just all of these experiences that have helped to kind of bring to life this very strange, like, Black American experience, or this experience of being Black in America, being Black and female in America. I don't know. It's all a bit exhausting, and it's like, if you don't have the context, there's just so much that you'd be confused about, because you would think that, like, some things that are not are. You would feel like the reasons that some things are happening, like they were happening for other reasons, and that wouldn't be truth. And I think it's important to, like, understand the truth. And sometimes you realize, like, how bleak the truth is. It isn't a happy story. It's not positive. There's not like a light and a rainbow on the other side of the story. It's just kind of, I won't say misery, but it's like, I don't know. It's like a hard ass truth, like a rock. It's like a rock. And understanding life, and especially like life in America as being like a fucking rock, is a weird place to sit. I don't know. It's like I can't even look at regular media anymore, because I know that the stories are going to dehumanize me. I can't listen to songs. I don't even know. I haven't listened to music in a few days, because I don't really care for the experiences of other people who aren't living in the same reality as me. Like, I want to feel and I want to sit in this reality all the way. And I don't want to misrepresent it for you. For me, I look back at these videos and I try to be as honest with my feelings as I can. So that when I do look back, I realize, like, exactly why I felt like the way that I felt, without tarnishing it, or downplaying my feelings. I think being honest about my feelings is so important. And it's something that I took for granted for a very long time. I just felt like, oh, things are happening. Just things are happening. Or things are happening to me, not things are happening with me. And at this point in my life, I want to make sure that things are happening with me and not to me. That's been something that's been difficult that's been a place that's been difficult to get to. It's taken a lot of work. It's not even self-work. It's more like community understanding. Like, you have to understand your enemies and people who are just out every day to take you out. And you have to understand their perspective so that you can maneuver around them to survive. It's just such a fucking like, that's where we are in society. That's where I am as a person living in this society. And I don't really feel fear about that anymore. In the past, I did. In the past, I really did. I felt so much fear because I felt like, what am I going to do now that these people hate me? Like, I felt like I had to get them to like me. When I'm talking about these people, I'm talking about, like, really all the other members of society. I felt like they had to like me, but they don't. And they won't. And there's no real reason for them to. But I do think that you can get to a place where, like, people see you as a human and they respect your humanity. And I think that that's a safe place to be. And I feel like until you feel that way, it is not safe to, like, bring life into the world. And I also think it's important to realize that you know, I'll just kind of stop that thought there. It goes a bit further, but that's the last thing I'll say is, like, I read I heard somewhere someone said, like, oh, high school doesn't matter. And then I thought about that and I'm like, yeah, that's true. But it shouldn't be. Like, high school should matter. Middle school and elementary school and college and your community and your parents and your friends, like, all those things, if we were living in a good society, they would matter. They should matter. They don't matter here, unfortunately. And I can point to really particular examples in my own life of when and why they didn't matter then, and when and why they don't matter now, and why I wish I could have gone back to my younger self and told her, like, those things, those people aren't here for you. They don't like you. Their lives aren't important in your narrative. Except no one said that to me, so I'm saying it to you. Just in case you find yourself having to leave your community and everyone that you grew up with, because unfortunately, American society was not built for you. And that is really sad.